In this video, we'll walk through the Academic Overview report in Rekods Schools. It lives inside the School Insights page. The idea behind this is simple. Instead of reviewing grade reports across all students, classes, and for all teachers, and then trying to piece together some picture of how the term is going in your head or in a spreadsheet, it's all here in one view. Organized by what actually matters. There are 5 sections: summary, grading analysis, classes, subjects, and teachers. We'll walk through each one. I'll show you what the data means and, more importantly, what to actually look for in each. One thing worth knowing up front, these reports refresh every 2 weeks, so if you see a blank area anywhere in your account, it either means the next refresh cycle hasn't run yet, grades and attendance haven't been entered for that period yet, or there is simply no data at this time for that particular section of the report. When the data is in, everything populates automatically. Starting at the top, these 3 numbers are your school's academic headline for the term, and I want to explain why we chose these 3 specifically, because there's a logic to the order. The first is your overall average score. That tells you broadly how students are performing, but an average alone can be misleading. A school where half the students are failing and the other half are doing brilliantly can still produce a decent average. So we pair it with passing rate, which answers the more pressing question. Are the students who need to be getting through actually getting through? And then we have the excellence rate, which tells you whether your strong students are being challenged, whether there's a ceiling being hit. In terms of what to look for, an overall average of 80% or higher is strong. Below 70 is a flag worth paying attention to. For your passing rate, you want to be at 85 to 90% or higher. Below 75 is a real concern. And for excellence rate, somewhere in the 35 to 40% range suggests your school has a genuine culture of high achievement. Below 15%, you'd want to ask why more students aren't breaking into the top tier. These aren't verdicts, they're signals, starting points for conversations, not conclusions. One additional thing I'll draw your attention to is that you can expand this collapsible section to see more details about what's being measured in each report and how to interpret it. This is available under all the tabs. Below the headline numbers, you get the same breakdown by grade level. This is useful because a strong school-wide average can hide a lot. You might have your junior years performing really well while your senior years are struggling, or the other way around. This gives you a quick scan of where the distribution actually sits before you go deeper into anything specific. The Grading Analysis tab shifts the question slightly. It's not just asking, how are students doing? It's asking, are we grading consistently across the school? Because here's a scenario that comes up in a lot of schools. You've got 2 teachers teaching the same subject to the same year group. One class has an 85% passing rate. The other has a 97% passing rate. Is that because one class is more capable, or is one teacher grading more easily? You can't tell from the numbers alone. This tab helps you start to answer that question. The main metric here is the grade rigor score. It runs from 1 to 10. Here's how to think about it. A class where most students are earning high grades will have a lower rigor score, which suggests the grading might be easier. A class where grades are broadly lower will have a higher score, suggesting stricter grading. Neither extreme on its own means anyone is doing something wrong. Context always matters. The target zone is roughly 5 to 7. That's the balanced range, challenging but fair. A score below 3 is worth a conversation about whether standards are where they should be. A score above 8 suggests students may be working very hard for very little reward, which has its own implications for motivation and how students feel about that subject. Alongside the rigor score, you have passing rate and excellence rate per class, and then the inflation risk column. That one flags whether grades in a particular class appear higher than the underlying performance data would typically support. It's not an accusation, it's a prompt to look closer. At the bottom, classes are grouped into 3 categories: most lenient, most rigorous, and high inflation risk. If a class shows up in one of these groupings, that's your cue to go into the Classes tab, which is next, and look at the actual grade distribution and performance data for that class. The groupings here give you the shortlist. The details are one click away. The Classes tab is where you'll probably spend the most time in. Every class running this term is listed here, and each one has its own performance breakdown. Before we go into the data, notice the drop-down at the top. You can filter by grade level, so if you want to look at just your Year 9 classes or just Year 12, you narrow it here rather than scrolling through everything. Let's pick one of the classes. French here, Class 4A, 20 students, taught by John Test User. At a glance, we see that 40% of students in this class are passing the class, while 40% are flagged as being at risk academically. Let's click into this class for more details. What you immediately get is the complete statistical picture for this class. At the top, the class statistics. Highest score was 88%. Median is 64. Average is 61.2. Lowest is 34%. And the standard deviation of 16.6 tells you the grades are quite spread out. You've got students at very different ends of the performance range in the same class. The grade distribution shows you the shape of the class statistics. No A, 3 Bs, 5 Cs, 4 Ds, and 8 Fs. 40% of this class receiving Fs is significant, and it's the kind of thing that would be easy to miss if you were only looking at the class average. Performance indicators give you the same picture in percentage terms. 40% passing, 40% success rate, 15% excellence rate. So those top 3 students are genuinely performing well, but 40% at risk. And the rigor score is 7.4, which sits right in the balanced zone. So this isn't a case of unusually harsh grading. The students who are struggling appear to be genuinely struggling. And this is where it becomes actionable. Rekods doesn't just show you the numbers and leave you to figure out what to do next. It prioritizes the actions for you. 4 recommendations here. Let's walk through a couple of them. The first is critical. Meet with John Test User one immediately. Understand why so many students are struggling in this class and identify those students quickly so you can get extra support in place. The second is high. Work with the teacher to explore what's driving the low passing rate, whether that's the assignments, the pace, the approach, and make adjustments. The labels matter. Critical means act now. High means act soon. Medium means worth addressing when you have the bandwidth. And positive is there when something is working well. Not every recommendation is a problem to solve. What this does in practice is take a process that would normally take you 30 to 40 minutes, going through grade reports, doing the analysis, preparing for a conversation with a teacher, and compress it to the 30 seconds it just took to open this panel. And the conversation you now have with John Test User isn't based on a hunch. It's based on data he can also see, which changes the dynamic entirely. Every class in the school has this same depth behind it. So whether you're looking at a class that's performing brilliantly or one that's in trouble, the data is there and the recommended next steps are ready. The Subjects tab takes a step back from individual classes and looks at subject areas as a whole. Instead of asking, how is John Test User's French class doing? It asks, how is French doing across the school? This is useful for 2 different things. First, departmental health. If your mathematics average across all classes is strong, the curriculum and teaching in that department are working. If it's weak across the board, that's a curriculum or departmental support question, not just an individual teacher question. Second, and this matters a lot for fairness, grade rigor variation. That metric tells you how consistently teachers within the same subject are grading. If you have 3 teachers all running Year 10 science and their rigor scores are meaningfully different, your students are having quite different experiences of what it means to pass science. That's an alignment conversation at the departmental level, and this tab surfaces it. Average score consistency tells you how similar the average performance is across different classes within the same subject. A high score means classes are performing comparably. A low score means there's meaningful divergence, which could be teacher-driven, student-driven, or curriculum-driven. Combined with the rigor variation score, you get a clear picture of whether a department is operating consistently or whether there are outliers worth investigating. Let's move to the last one, the Teachers tab. I want to be deliberate about how to frame this one because it's easy to misread. This is not a league table. It's not designed to rank teachers or create a pass/fail list. It's designed to support professional development conversations and to help you recognize the teachers who are doing something worth understanding and acknowledging. For each teacher, you're seeing their overall average score and passing rate across all the classes they teach, their average rigor score, how consistent their results are across different sections, and their average inflation risk. The column I'd pay the most attention to first is average score consistency. A teacher with a high consistency score is getting similar outcomes whether they're teaching Class 5A or Class 5C. That's a sign of intentional, repeatable practice. They know how they teach and it translates across groups. A teacher with low consistency, strong in one class, weaker in another, might be stretched across too many subjects, might have a particularly challenging cohort in one section, or might be someone who would benefit from a conversation about what's working and what isn't. The inflation risk metric is one to handle carefully. A high inflation risk doesn't automatically mean a teacher is grading generously to avoid difficult conversations. It might mean the class is genuinely strong. What it means in practice is look at that teacher's classes in the Classes tab and understand the full picture before drawing any conclusions. What I'd encourage you to do with this tab is use it as part of your regular line management or appraisal cycle. If a teacher is consistently strong across all metrics, that's worth acknowledging directly. From experience, these are often the people who aren't getting enough recognition for what they're quietly doing well. If there's a pattern that's worth exploring with someone, you now have a data-backed starting point for a conversation that doesn't feel like it came out of nowhere. So that's the full academic overview report. 5 tabs, and each one answers a different question. How is the school doing overall? How consistent is our grading? How is each individual class performing? How are our subject departments tracking? And how are our teachers doing across all their classes? A few things to keep in mind for how you'd use this day to day. The data refreshes every 2 weeks, so it reflects the most recent grading and attendance cycles. For board reports or leadership check-ins, the Summary tab is your starting point. For staff management and departmental planning, you'll spend most of your time in classes and subjects. And for appraisal or professional development conversations, Teachers gives you the data layer you need. One more thing, and this is probably the most important thing I can say about this report. It doesn't replace the conversations. What Rekods does is make sure that when you have those conversations, with a teacher about a struggling class, with a head of department about inconsistent grading, with your board about where the school stands this term, you're walking in with the full picture already in front of you. You're not piecing it together from memory or hoping the numbers are right. That's what this is for.